everyone. I
Good
had my
morning, my
breakfast,
friend.
not my tea. Good morning, Blaine Bartlett. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well.
You look well. It's good to see you every Thursday here with me. He's not only reliable, but he is an amazing coach, mentor, and teacher. And he's my coach, mentor, and teacher, and one of my best friends in the world, BlaineBartlett.com. He has turned all of my possibilities into reality by giving the mindset, the heart set, and the handset that's necessary in order to effectuate the pursuit of your potential, and has done that for me. So welcome, Blaine Bartlett, to episode 638 of
Right.
Office Hours.
Hey, my ferocious Buddha. We're doing well here.
Yes,
Good day.
blessed to be a ferocious Buddha and inspire others to do the same. Speaking of ferocious Buddhas, this is a man who has great impact on my life. And he has learned, as I have, to be vulnerable, to illuminate the challenges of our past and use them for a brighter, better future. And his heart is bigger than he is. Sometimes I always say his heart's so big it weighs him forward because he's always leaning forward. He's the CEO and co-founder of MOTI, MOTI Technologies. Welcome to Office Hours, Hugo Sanchez.
Thank you, David, for having me. For a minute, I was saying, who is he talking about? That guy sounds amazing.
You thought I was going to reintroduce Blaine again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And Blaine, I'll tell you, this man is always looking out for other people, and has built this amazing application that I still think is best utilized by Westlaw or LexisNexis. It covers one issue for every consultant, coach, mentor, teacher, lawyer, financial advice, anybody that charges by the hour. The biggest problem with people that charge for the hour is the incongruency between what's actually charged and how much time is spent. And it works two ways. For really kind people, it's they don't get paid enough. And for really sleazy people, it's the roundup and the over exaggeration and overselling. And so to be accessible, which technologies have via virtual nature, is one thing. But to be able to instantly know how much time did I spend and let people know, hey, this is how much I am per minute, and then be able to instantly put it on a credit card. Because there's one rule, and I'm going to ask my question in a minute, but the reason I love MOTI, and I begged him to put me on his board of advisors, I begged him to help, allow me to help him. The one thing that I love about it is the biggest lesson I've learned in business is 80% of business is collecting.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I had to set the stage for our friend Hugo Sanchez at MOTI, because it is the best collecting mechanism for any consultant, lawyer, financial guy, accountant, whoever charges by the hour. So my question is, Hugo, where do you see MOTI today helping the most? Because there's so many industries to attack. Where do you start?
For me, I see the biggest gap in tutoring. And I say tutoring because
Interesting.
there are platforms really well built out, but they charge almost 30%. They pay out bi-weekly or monthly. MOTI pays out within 24 hours to 48. It's Stripe. The percentages are like almost 50%, half of what the industry is charging. And they don't have contact to their clients, direct contact. So I look at the tutoring space, people that are learning from you to become coaches. Where they're going to start their business? Are they going to streamline it? Or they're going to say, I build a website, then Calendly, then Zoom, then pay me through Cash App? It's a good way if you're starting to as a coach. Let me start my clients by knowing MOTI. They should be, let's start here. You treat your customers better. It's seamless. They know what they're paying. They can negotiate with you on messaging if you're up to negotiations. And more than that, you could keep in contact with them and follow through with them. And MOTI, that's the real difference. MOTI records video directly to the device. So rather than moving it from a cloud, when our call is finished with dual consent, we could record directly to the device. So whether it's a meeting or you're coaching me, I can go, or tutoring me, I can go over those notes right after we hang up and really be rigorous about it. You see the value on the video, you see the value on the payment. It's all built in. And this is the future. The future is video to payment. As things get a little wonky around the world, people are going to do more video to meet their clients. They're going to do, it's hard to bring celebrities in to do a podcast, but it's easier to do a video with them, and record it and do it all in one place for them. And then that becomes their business app moving forward. I see the record industries, the record labels like Empire that have over 500 employees. A lot of those artists have super fans, but they don't have a tool to tap in without giving their personal number and FaceTime. So for us, but we see it today, is definitely coaches and tutors. That's the first place we want to assist. And then the virtual assistant. In the Philippines, they're taking 80% of people's salaries. 80%. I've spoken to companies that have 100 employees. They're charging 1,500 per employee, which is 1.8 million a year, and their payroll is 360,000. 3,600 is the average payroll. With MOTI, that would be seeing 75%. That's almost 10,000. The obstacle is payment. You're taking 80% of their salary because of payment. That's the only obstacle. They don't need you to get them clients. They're getting clients for clients. That's what they got hired for. They just need a platform, and you're taking 80% of somebody's salary because they can't get paid. That, I don't understand how that's fair in this market today. So that's what we're trying to win. We're trying to make it easy for everybody to make a living.
We were talking in the green room before David came on, and part of what you were talking about was getting it ready for market. And David, this is, I'm just going to relate the story here, but Hugo was saying, I'm not ready to go to market. I'll let you know when I'm ready to go to market. But you were willing to invest in it on the upside
4 years.
more than anything else. For 4 years. For 4 years, this has been kind of tracking. And it was more about investing in him and his idea rather than the product, because there was no product. So where I'm going to with this, Hugo, has to do with the idea of, we'll just take the tutoring or the coaching piece here, the investment in an idea or an individual rather than the product. How do people feel about themselves when they're in the presence of my product or service? So when that friction is removed about, I'm questioning the value because I'm not sure who's getting where the split is going, where does the money go? All of a sudden now I've got a VA in the Philippines that's getting 80% rather than 50% or 40%. There's something there that now makes it possible for, in my mind, compassionate capitalism to actually exist, where you're behaving in a manner in which you believe and you act as if everything is connected. And because everything is connected, I care about your well-being in the choices that I'm making. So it's not just about grabbing the money. It's about how can everybody win in this process. So that's a bit of a preamble here to a question that is embedded in this. It took 4 years to get you to this point. What's the major piece that makes this thing so easy to use for the consumer on both ends of that? Because it's a B2C process.
Right. So for the merchant, it takes all their tools they're using now and consolidates them. For the user, the client, they get more services. The thing with using one particular app, like I'll say a great product, why isn't this a good app? They charge a lot, but they're a great tutoring app. They're very focused to tutoring, which means a personal trainer won't be able to get in there. So it limits, when MOTI's like a mall, a coach can open there, a personal trainer, a tutor. There's more resources in MOTI because all the professions are different. We're not scaling to just a mentors app. To have mentors, that's fine. But the whole app doesn't rely on a mentor. It relies on a tutor. It relies on a doctor. Amazon did telemedicine for $10. So can MOTI. We have a payment. It's just a matter of putting a form in for your medical, and it goes directly to the doctor. So it's just not it's multiple applications where.
He's a compassionate capitalist who just got dropped off, and he'll come right back on. I'm
making
sure.
Almost 10,000. From 3,600 a year, making 10,000 a year. That's life changing. That's not MOTI's not losing money. We are actually making a huge amount of profit, even at 20%. That means they would get 1.4, and MOTI would still get 400 people, 400,000 a year. for them using the app only 4 hours a week. That's fair. Why do we need to be the ones with the 1.4? That's just one small community. This is a global product. Like when David launched Samsung, we're looking to get in every country and provide this payment easy, whether it be to crypto or BitPay, whatever it is, we're going to install it so you could get paid. That shouldn't be the barrier why somebody takes 80% of your salary. It just can't be the barrier. That's not fair.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what makes MOTI special. We don't want 80% of your salary just because we're a video platform. That doesn't make sense to us.
So, Hugo, listening to you, knowing you for so many years, there's a book over Blaine's right shoulder there. It's called Compassionate Capitalism. One of the things that I hear in your voice and in the lessons that you teach in the business that you've created is compassion. You must have said that isn't fair 4 or 5 times within the few minutes that the interview is going on.
Yeah.
How important is it to be a compassionate capitalist? Because you and I can't speak for Blaine because he's an angel from God and he was born on a farm and he was born with compassion. You and I, we grew up a little bit more scarce in our perspective. We weren't as compassionate when we were young.
No.
And we certainly are now, but how important is compassion in capitalism?
It's the most important tool. It lets you sleep better at night. The fact that you showed me compassion 4 years when I only had 3 buttons on my app, and you said I'm gonna bet on Hugo, it's what drove me to say, if David could bet on me, he doesn't even know me yet well enough, but I had to tell him who I was before who I am today. That's compassion. You took compassion saying, I'm going to listen to him because if he wants to put it together, I want to be there for him. So when I left that morning, I already knew I had a mission and was to prove that I'm right about this and you will support me when the time came. And I was right. I was right about you when I first saw your videos, and you've been the same. Your consistency is, I don't know who could do it like that. That's one of the things I watch people every day. It's one of the things I learned from being an idiot. To survive where I was at, you have to watch everything. So people tell you who they are by you just watching them.
Oh, yeah.
And 7 years I've been watching you. It took me 3 to approach you. You have never changed your tone. You could give bad news like good news. I could be dying and you could make it sound okay. And it's because you care about how you deliver your message. And that's important to me. That is really the most important thing to me. I don't have to beat somebody up. I just have to tell them it's not for me at this moment. But I could see if maybe somebody's interested. And I learned that from you. You don't have to run over people just because something is it's not in your wheelhouse. So yeah, it is the most important thing to me is to be compassionate with people, especially when we live in in a time right now where people need hope.
Yeah. Well, you choke me up, my friend. And sometimes when you're consistent and some people aren't doing well, it's nice to know that you're planting seeds at least, but people acknowledge what you do, right? Because you're not going to hear what you just said often. And there's a lot of people that need help. And although you're not perfect, when you have that intention every day, because people don't see you every day, but you're doing it every day. And they see you as consistent because they see you once a week or once every other week. And it is what inspires me, people like you that go ahead and do the work to make it happen for other people as well. In the mission of mine to empower others, thank you for illustrating how that works to everyone. And so much appreciate you. And check out MOTI. It is a compassionate, capitalistic application that takes care of the biggest critical business issue on earth, collecting, which is 80% of the work, and being fair to those who are doing the work. If you're a teacher, a mentor, a coach, if you're a lawyer, a consultant of any type, if you bill hourly and you're not using MOTI around the world, you might as well get paid, and people might as well pay you per minute fairly. No over exaggeration, overselling, back end selling, lying, manipulating, or cheating. Just simply math. Check out MOTI, and most importantly, check out my friend who I'm so proud of for years, Hugo Sanchez. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us.
And David, thank you. And you, thank you. I got to get that book now because now I have to read it. Now I'm intrigued. So now I got to get the book.
We'll
Yeah.
send
Thank you,
it to you.
David, for
We'll send
everything.
it
And
to you.
I
He'll
always
go.
appreciate and I love you. And whatever you need from me, I'm here. I'm of service when it comes to you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll see him soon. Check out MOTI. It's a great mode of business and utilization around the world. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you,
All
David.
right. See you soon, Hugo. All right. Moving right along. I was just in Santa Monica this week, right after my SoFi mastermind. And we have our friend Eli is here. Eli Farhood is here. And he is based in Santa Monica, CEO of Katsh Digital ID. Welcome, Eli.
Good morning, David. Good morning,
Thank you.
everyone. How are you?
I'm doing well, and Blaine's doing even better. And obviously, authentication is a big deal, and understanding how we do it today, comparatively how we can do it in the future. What is the differentiator of Katsh in its form of two-factor authentication?
Yeah, David. So, we started Catch because I fell victim to fraud to start with, and because when I investigated how I fell victim, I discovered that anyone who possesses your personal information today can literally claim your identity. And we see all those data breaches, they're more often and more frequent than ever. And what they do is that they're providing fraudsters and scammers are sensitive information, social security numbers, right, and credentials. And they use those informations very well to hack our account and defraud us and compromise our devices. Um, so we decided, okay, so how do we solve this problem? Like, you can stop them from stealing our information. It's happening to Microsoft, right? It's $1 trillion company, so it's a big challenge. If Microsoft can't protect its data, then who can protect us? Even the average Joe, right? So we came up with a concept with Catch where from now on you are back in control over who can use your information, and that concept works by using your hand, and with your hand, you authorize who can use that data every time you need it. It's as simple as that.
So you use your hand. Okay. I was just in Whole Foods the other day, and they've got a hand scanner, a palm scanner in there. So biometrics so I'm assuming there's a biometric component to what it is that you're doing with Catch, obviously. How is that safer for me than going through a CAPTCHA as an example, or two-factor identification, that sort of thing? Now, I know that my handprint is just like my fingerprint is unique to me, but in terms of where it's stored and whatnot, walk me through that just a little bit, if you could, Eli, because it's intriguing.
Yeah, absolutely. What's happening at Whole Foods is similar to what we're building. The only difference is that the Whole Food technology, or Amazon One, that's the technical.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah. It requires a special device to operate.
Right.
So we're different in the sense that we don't need a device. It works on any smart device. It can be your laptop, it can be your iPhone, your Android, an iPad, any kind of device that has a camera. And the fact that we're able to do that gives us a great advantage. On the business side, we don't have to develop, hardware, and that deployment, maintenance, and deployment and maintenance and development of the hardware costs money. So we have to add it to our pricing model. But on the consumer side, we're providing you access to your identity anywhere. And the fact that we're able to do that, we're asking you this: stop using credentials, stop using passwords, stop using multi-factor authentication, and use your hand instead, right? The reason why today with Face ID, for example, you still have to use your password if you don't have Face ID is because Face ID is constrained to your iPhone, right? And if you don't have your iPhone on you, then you have to use your password. The fact that we're able to provide that on any device makes it amazing as a concept in our view, because you don't need to use your password, or there's no passwords anymore. We're trying to eliminate passwords and the pain of multi-factor authentication. For example, the other day, I was trying to log into one of my social accounts, and I had literally 30 seconds to get that code from my email. They sent it over, right, to verify who I am. And, sometimes emails take longer than 30 seconds to arrive. I couldn't get in. That was very painful. And I think a lot of people have gone through this. And this just tells you why they're keeping that expiration of that code very short, because they're very concerned that hackers in a few minutes will be able somehow to grab that code, because your device might be compromised, because a lot of your accounts might be compromised, could be your email. And this is one of the reasons why they're doing that. But so it's a pain. It's not solving the problem. We're compromised, and our solution was to really eliminate things that hackers steal, which is credentials. Okay, if we eliminate that from the equation, they have nothing to steal. Your hand, they can't steal it, because we built this biometric technology. It's kind of like a military grade security. It's very powerful, very hard to break. But again, conceptually, security is about the economics behind it. Fraudsters, when they try to hack your accounts or maybe compromise large databases, they're thinking how much it's going to cost them and what's the return of that investment, right? They're trying to hack you, and that hack will cost them money at the end of the day. When you make it very expensive for them to hack a system or breach a system, or maybe compromise an account, the return will be dismal. And when you break that economics for scammers, this is where you're getting a very strong security in our view.
Good.
And just as we finish up, Alana waiting in the wings for us, what is the economic impact? A lot of people can't even fathom when we are looking at identity theft, credential theft. What's the economic impact today that you're resolving?
We think inclusivity is very important. When you are able to democratize access to services, goods, accounts, social accounts, bank accounts, financial services, any kind of accounts you need in your life or digital life, that is very powerful, because you're allowing people who today are underbanked, for example, to enjoy banking services, because now they got cheaper, right? The reason why banks now have to, charge those fees and like you have to have $1,500, otherwise we'll charge you a monthly fee or blah blah blah. That's because there's a cost to banking operations. Today, banks, they have large network of branches, right? And those branches are costing them about $800,000 a year each. Think of Wells Fargo, for example. They have 7,200 branch. 30% of the net income just goes to branch operations and maintenance. If you're able to eliminate most of the unprofitable branches, which today turned into ghost towns post-COVID, because people got used to, doing things online, and they like it now. They no longer have that barrier, right? Because back in the days, I wouldn't go to the bank unless I have to go to the bank. I'm not going to do things online because I think it's more secure, right? But we got used to it. There's a trend change here. And we think that if we're able to help banks become 30% more profitable, that means they're going to offer cheaper financial services. And the fact that you can just sign in with your hand, that's going to create a massive positive impact and inclusivity on a societal basis.
Absolutely. Check out Katsh and our friend Eli Farhood. You can go. He has a crowdfunding campaign, and he's eliminating the passwords and two-factor authentication, like CAPTCHA. Katsh is Katsh, is seen on the screen. Thank you, Eli. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me, David. Have a great day.
You got it. Good to see you. All right. Alana, like I said, is waiting in the room. Alana Pratt is here. She is an intimacy expert at Become the One Inc. And I think so many of us want to become the one, whether we are involved in a relationship or not. And I think that's a interesting distinction. An Ivy Leaguer as usual, global media personality, but renowned intimacy expert. Alana, welcome to Office Hours.
Oh, it's great to be back, David. And it's wonderful to meet you, Blaine. And I don't know about you, but well, I know you have a wonderful history with your marriage and your commitment. I have gone through 2 divorces, and I was very much looking to find the one. And I didn't slow down to actually become the one first. And so it's an honor to teach people how to fall in love with themselves, awaken their best self. And funny how that attracts a healthy partner, or even awakens the best with the one that you're with.
Which is the latter, my experience in life. And knowing that I found my dream girl from the 4th grade and almost blew it because I was not the one that I wanted to be, living to my potential. The question I have is interesting because I think when we become the one, we start looking for the things in our intimate partner that we see inside ourselves. So a difficulty that I have in my intimate relationships, not just my marriage, is that a lot of times I look for my past in other people, not my future. And it's a step beyond becoming the one, is that as you become the one, you still have your past. And we now have to have a resolution of looking for my past in others. So for example, I was an overseller. I'm a toptimist, which lends a genetic and energetic inheritance of overselling. So when other people, I would look for that instead of looking for the truth or what I live and want to become myself. How can people go beyond what becoming the one, but really looking in others for what they see in themselves?
Such a great question. My definition of becoming the one is that we have integrated the past, and we're no longer looking from the outside in to be whole, to be safe, to be good enough, to complete us, to make us feel good enough. That's the whole work. So as I call it, sit in the fire and face our demons, our shadows, the part of us that we're still ashamed of, the part of us that still feels at 3 a.m. in the morning and you wake up, what's wrong with me? Like that part. If we don't sit in the fire and truly do the work to become the one, we'll always try to seek that completion in another. And when we do that, we try to control the other or manipulate the other, or we give away our power and become people pleasers. So really all the work I do is very, very deep, of facing all of these incompletions of the past so that you're whole. And while you'd prefer your partner to be certain ways, you don't need them to be that way to be enough to be whole and to be magnetic for really seeing the best in them. There's a spaciousness that happens when a person feels that you're not trying those tendrils of manipulation, no agenda, no strategy, just pure presence. They feel safe. They blossom into more of who they are. And that actually awakens the best in your partner.
And just interrupt, Blaine. It also, I think a big one is to try to change our partner.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard enough to change ourselves. Nobody likes change, but that causes an enormous, that's what came up with me as you were explaining that is, one of the difficulties in life is I see people trying to change other people.
Yeah, it takes a lot of humility to let go of trying to change others, to rest all of that discomfort inside of us, and instead turn that mirror on ourselves, sit in our own discomfort, do our own work. And that allows us to be literally the embodiment of allowance of others, which is very sexy, very safe, very attractive when you can just allow another to be and not change them at all because you've changed yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the idea, again, and I'm driving my wife crazy with this sometimes. The notion that there's nobody out there but me. I'm continuously interacting with aspects of myself. That's all I'm ever doing.
Brilliant.
The conversation, the argument that I'm having isn't with the other person. It's with that aspect of myself that I've got stuff going on with. So I clean it up with myself. All of a sudden, they changed.
Yes. Isn't it amazing? That's like the quantum psychology right there, Blaine. You're amazing. My last relationship, he did his best, but he got me tickets to an event for Christmas. But he is a musician, so he got booked on that same day, and he sold those tickets without even talking to me. He sold my Christmas present.
Mm.
And the old me at the beginning of the relationship, what? And I needed to change him for me to be okay. But in that moment, I sat there and I said, right in real time, oh, devastation. Oh, disappointment. Oh, I don't feel valued. I don't feel important. And I processed right in front of him. And then I said, got it. You just forgot. You were so excited about your new gig. I forgive you. And
Yeah.
he changed right in front of me because I sat in my fire.
Yep.
You
Beautiful.
know, it's interesting as I study faith. And when I say faith, I study philosophies, theories, religions, spirituality. In all of the different stories of all four of those different perspective building mechanisms that we utilize, there's stories about people sitting in the fire and being
Mhm.
saved.
Yeah.
In the Course in Miracles, you're saved by forgiveness, as you
Right.
have articulated. Other people have been saved by God and Jesus,
Mhm.
Buddha, Muhammad, Joseph Smith. But there's stories again and again in all these different areas about sitting in the fire, 4 teenagers that were sitting in the fire and they weren't born, burned, and Jesus saved them through forgiveness.
Mm.
And so that word forgiveness has been for me in 2024. I've been a big gratitude person.
Mhm.
Although one of my core values is forgiveness that brings ease.
Mm.
But how important is it along the process of sitting in the fire to forgive ourselves in
Mm.
order to change
It's
the way we look at things?
It's essential, absolutely essential. In fact, I have a free gift to give people on our call today. And the second of 3 videos is about forgiveness, because we think it's about forgiving the other, but it's really about forgiving ourselves. We betrayed ourselves. We didn't slow down, sit in the fire, listen to our own truth. We didn't bravely speak up. We didn't risk rejection. We didn't authentically express our deepest heart's truth. So self-forgiveness is actually the deepest key. And sitting in the fire. And I have this analogy of looking at little you, and little you is ashamed. And maybe you're even hitting little you with a 2x4, you idiot, if you'd only change. So this level of self-hatred, and we dissolve that with mercy and self-forgiveness, and we become whole and home. And that little you comes home into our heart. Really, you love me even though I messed up? Yeah, I love you even though you messed up. We're all human. And the softer and more gentle we are, which takes bravery and courage, but it creates this soft strength, which is very attractive to be in our own skin, in our own body, and to be with those that we're intimately connected with as a beloved, but also our children, also our colleagues, our friends. We're just safer for everyone. We're that person they call, at 3 a.m. when they want someone that's not going to judge them. That's going to be you, because you've stopped judging yourself.
I came across a quote the other day. I'll just kind of wrap this. The first to apologize is the bravest. The first to forgive is the strongest. And the first to forget is the happiest.
Oh, I got shivers, Blaine. That was awesome.
Hey, Gigi, write that down for our threads of the day. So repeat that, Blaine.
Yeah, the first to the first to apologize is the bravest.
Mhm.
The first to forgive is the strongest. And the first to forget is the happiest.
I love that.
So
You'll see that.
Presence.
You'll
Yeah.
see that on my threads. That's amazing.
Yeah, mine too.
It's so go to office hour. I mean, sorry, there is that's the discount code to have. There's a course called Come the One course, and it's the introductory course that Alana gives. It will absolutely help you change the way you look at things, so the things you look at change. The word intimate, I in some of my coaching and mentoring, I have people go in the dictionary or look up words that start with in. I also will have them start with re. And so where re will be part of source, if you're a resource or remember or recollect or remind, that is indicative of connecting with a higher source. The word in is the transition of that as well. So if you think about intimate,
Yes. To
the
me, I see. Yes.
I am. And then so if you want to get clear and at ease within yourself so that you can see that in others, projecting only the best in your potential, and you want to become the one, to find the one, I can't think of anything more valuable in my life, because as I became the one that lies next to me almost all the time when I'm not traveling without her, is the greatest joy, fulfillment, brings passion, purpose, and even profitability, believe it or not, Blaine will tell you, into your life. So become the one, everyone. And there's a great course to become the one. Use the discount code office hours. And I promise you, you can even receive her course for free. That's not even a discount code, they said.
Wow.
It's
To you today. Yeah.
I love that. If it's free, it's me. And Alana, thank you for everything that you do. And we will have you back as always. It's great to see you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me back, and wonderful to meet you, Blaine. Have a beautiful
You as well. Thank you, Alana.
Much love.
Much love.
to you.
All right. Speaking of much love, we have our cleanup hitter waiting in the wings, and we're down south today. She's in North Carolina. Landon Derrickson is here, president, CEO, founder, and an attorney, but we won't hold that against him. Derrickson Law, DerricksonLaw.com. My man, how are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm excited because we are less than a week away from seeing each other. And you are one of the most philanthropic people in my life. And I try to surround myself with people, as you can see for today, that are more interested in empowering and helping others than themselves. And you are of service, not just in the entertainment industry as one of the leading entertainment attorneys in the world, but more importantly, you're in service to your community as well. A lot of people don't see lawyers capable of being in service. They're afraid of MOTI. They're afraid of billing fairly or being fair. How important is it to you to be of service, and how is that aligned with the event that you're putting on with me on August 28th in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee?
That's a great question. I think, for me, speaking of faith, the ultimate service leader or leader servant, Jesus Christ. So that's something that I strive to be in my everyday life, is serve others. This charity that we're going to be benefiting on that night, they do some great work here in our local inner city, and I've personally gone down there and volunteered for them. It's called Elijah's Heart, elijahsheart.com, if you want to check it out. They essentially walk around the inner city and they hand out essential groceries, toiletries, and whatnot to the homeless, and they have a heart to serve our community, and so they're a really great charity, and I'm really hoping to make a big impact for them on the 28th.
That's great. Elijah's Heart now. Is it elijahsheart.com?
elijahsheart.com. Yeah.
Great. Now, you've also got something else coming out this year, a documentary film. And speaking of being of service, most documentaries are kind of geared towards that. Can you talk a little bit about what that's about, Landon?
Sure. So I've got a couple of them. One is still being filmed, but one is wrapped up and it's in the editing phase right now. It's called The Anti-Diet Club. And what it is, my great friend David Roden, at one point in his life, he lost 200 or 300 pounds, something really, really outstanding, amazing. And he's been helping people do weight loss transformations over many years. And so we had this idea to follow the weight loss transformation of several people that he was helping. And I can't remember what the total aggregate weight loss, it was like 5 or 6 people, and is, I believe, well over 1,000 pounds, maybe even over 2,000 pounds, but just incredible weight loss transformations. And so we've got some exciting opportunities with that with that film coming up soon.
Good.
And obviously, you negotiate agreements at the highest level with entertainers, athletes.
Okay, David
and,
just froze.
Oh, can you hear me, Landon?
I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, I may have just froze for Blaine, but anyway,
There you go. You're back. Okay.
there we go. He lives where like super rich people live. You always know where super rich people live is they don't have internet access. So, because they're so far away. Anyways, they're on
Hey, Steve
islands.
Ballmer's my
They have
neighbor.
their
What
own
can I say?
islands. They have their own islands. They have their own, variety of things in their lives. So, more importantly, just as I finish up, you negotiate agreements, and I've done that as well. And I learned how to do that from one of the greatest negotiators of all time, a man named Lee Steinberg, who they made the movie Jerry Maguire about our firm. And he used to tell me when you negotiate agreement, it's not about protecting necessarily the client. It's more about protecting the opportunity, meaning that the idea of an agreement is that you don't have disagreements,
Right.
that you write it clear enough where nobody feels like they're cheated. He said, it's people that cheat, but if you write a correct agreement that's clear in its agreements, it will dissipate and even dissolve and mitigate the risk of a disagreement. And so the purpose of the agreement is to avoid disagreements. For you, you're one of the best at that. And so many athletes and entertainers that deal in millions of dollars know that it's the disagreements that cause the most pain, not
Right.
the agreement. What process or what do you do, because you're so good at it, in order to effectuate making sure that you have clarity in the agreement and also are making agreements that are with people that respect agreements?
Right. I think in a couple of things. One, I think like making it simple is always a great way to avoid disagreements, because if you get something that's too complicated, people can't understand it. It's open to interpretation. So I feel like making things simple and easy to understand is a great way to avoid disagreement. Secondly, I think you have to think about a mentor of mine always taught me, think about not only what's on the page, but what's not on the page, what's missing from the page and that should be there. Because things can come up, and I can't tell you how many times a situation came up that no one thought would come up, but because I had taken the time to think about what's missing from the page, we had put something in there that kept the parties from having a disagreement when a scenario popped up that they weren't thinking about. So I think those two strategies are something I use most commonly.
Well, come join us next week in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll be at the Virgin Hotel. We have a content mastermind, quote unquote, which has been labeled a speaker series. But we have incredible people like Michael Chandler, James Maslow from Big Time Rush, Dr. Sean Dill, Dr. Lacey Book, Landon, and myself, all conglomerating and aggregating down in Nashville, Tennessee. Go ahead and email me, david@dmeltzer.com, or Landon, where can they find you to sign up to join us at Derrickson's Endless Summer? It's DM at Derrickson Law. I see that, but is there anywhere else they can go?
Yeah, they can email me at landon@derricksonlaw.com, or they can hit me up on Instagram, just at Landon Derrickson. Those are probably the two easiest.
Great.
You got it, my friend. Thank you. I will see you next week.
All right, thank you, Blaine.
Good luck with it, Landon. Great to meet you. Yeah.
We're going to make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun down in Nashville, which is really easy. Check us out. The amazing Landon Derrickson. I appreciate you. All right, real quick, Blaine, because I got my coaching call
Yes.
sounding me. And anyway, what's your takeaway for the day?
My takeaway, I'm going to pull the thing that you and Lee, Steinberg, were referenced, or your reference with Lee. We make agreements and we negotiate agreements to protect the opportunity. And I think that's applicable all the way through our show today. Whether we're looking at the opportunity to be of service through a payment system so that, there's fairness involved in there. We want to protect that opportunity. Whether we're looking at, being the one as an example, the opportunity to actually connect, obviously, just in the conversation here with Landon, that comes into play too. But this idea of protecting the opportunity to thrive, to grow, to inform, to contribute, to be of service. We are continuously making agreements in our lives, with ourselves as well as with others. And this is kind of where I'm going to land this is, there's two classes of agreements, the agreements that I do make with other people. And those are the ones that are most visible. But I want to have our listeners today, take a look at the agreements that they make with themselves that nobody knows about. And those are the agreements that inform the opportunity that I have to be all that I can be. And I want to protect those agreements because they enhance the opportunity to be who I am. That's where I'm going to go.
Without a doubt. And my takeaway is becoming a compassionate capitalism. And a lot of time compassion is overlooked. And the intimacy of looking within, not outside of you, for acknowledgement of that compassion. And your quote resonated with me and will be seen. But, compassion is important, to have compassion for self so you can have compassion for others. Because I remember my first job and my boss said, David, I was a young executive and didn't know what I was doing. He's like, you got to lay off of your employees. I had 7,000 sales rep in my 20s. He said, you got to lay off. I said, well, I was taught, treat others like you want to be treated. And he said, David, if you treated others like you treat yourself, you'll have no employees. So you need to be compassionate and treat yourself with compassion so you can treat others with compassion as well. And it was a testament. Hugo's testimony touched my heart, that every once in a while you do get to sit under a tree that you planted seeds in. And it's a touching moment that makes it all worth it for me. But if I don't find that inside of myself, if I need validation outside, I won't continue to be consistent with the compassion. So be consistent with your compassion. Read Compassionate Capitalist. Blaine has blessed me to be part of that book with him. And it's a great perspective builder. Blaine, I wish you only the best. You can see one of the best mentors, coaches, and teachers in the world, BlaineBartlett.com. Reach out to him no matter what size of company or person you think or want to become. He's your guy. He's my guy. BlaineBartlett.com. Send my love to Cynthia, and I will talk to you soon.
Yep. We got a couple of things to catch up on. Take care, buddy. Have a great coaching call.
Thank you. All right, everyone, I got to jump. Remember, come and see me on Monday night in Orange County. Then we'll be in Nashville at Landon Derrickson's. And then I'll be at the Aspire Tour in Phoenix, Arizona. David at dmeltzer.com for any of those three. Or if you can't keep up with me, you're not the only one, because I can't keep up with me. I don't know where I'm supposed to be, but I just use my text alert system, my text community, for alerting and inviting invitations.obligations, which is something I stole from Cynthia Kersey, Blaine's wife, 949-298-2905. All right, everyone. Remember, most importantly, be kind to your future self and please do good deeds. I'll talk to you later. Peace.